Lights, sirens, everything. The guy turns his lights off, swerves into the desert, and then just disappears. The tracks led out into the desert for a short while, and then just stopped. Hey guys, Scary Stories here. I hope you're doing well. Tonight, I thought it might be fun to jump back in to some cop stories. Everyone seemed to like them last time, so let's get right into Volume 2. Before we get into that, though, I did want to just go over something with you guys. Get your opinion, if you don't mind. I recently found 2 iceberg charts that really interested me. There's the unsolved mystery, I don't even know what it's called. Unsolved mystery chart, pretty much. And then there's a creepypasta chart. On the unsolved mystery one, you have stuff like Cooper family, falling body, Mongolian death worm, James Bulger murder, cult of Saturn, dead body coordinates found in thrift store, Fukushima gateway, coronal heating? I don't know. And then on the creepypasta chart, you have like Jeff the Killer at the top, the Rake. Going further down, you have God's Mouth, the Gray Man, My Property Isn't Normal, Hanging Man Hill, the Girl in the Picture, Dogscape, and the Brooding Star. Yeah. I basically just wanted to check in with you guys, see if you'd be interested in going over any of these charts. I thought it might be fun to do shorter, like 15-20 minute videos, kind of like we do now, and just go over a couple topics per video. If we did the mystery one, we could just keep it as is, do like 3 topics, just discussing the unsolved mysteries. But then if we did the creepypasta chart, we could, go over a story, talk about it, look into the background, see who wrote it, where it came from, its origins, all that. And then, obviously, read it for you guys. Could be a fun way to go over more obscure and some nostalgic creepypastas you might have listened to a while ago. If you have an opinion on if you'd like to see creepypastas or unsolved mysteries, one or the other, let me know down below which chart you think be better to go over. Pick away at. Even if you just say like unsolved mystery or creepypasta. That'll kind of show me where we're all leaning at with the channel and what you guys are into. But yeah, I really appreciate your opinion, and I do appreciate your time, so I'll cut it there. Let's get into the actual stories now. I hope you enjoy. So we were called out to a residence, way out in the boonies. This was in Wyoming, so the boonies really are the boonies. It was about 11 p.m., and the call came in about suspicious activity near the woods of a residence. When we got there, the family that called us told us that there was some really strange screams coming from a creek area about 1,000 feet out. Sure enough, as we were waiting on the porch for a minute, we heard it. It's very hard to describe what it sounded like exactly. It was kind of like a woman in very severe distress, but higher pitched, and each scream lasted for 10 to 15 seconds. It never sounded like it was trying to say anything. It just sounded like a cry of sheer terror, and it repeated over and over again. We told the family we were going to go investigate, so we just walked down to the creek since it was nice out. We hear about 2 more screams, each one getting louder as we approach the creek. By now, we're both a little freaked out. There's 2 possibilities. Someone's getting murdered or severely injured in the creek bed, or it's just a wild animal. But as we approach the creek bed, we hear no screams for about 5 minutes. We look around, but we don't find anything. The whole time we're yelling at the top of our lungs for somebody to come towards us if they're out there. Then, We hear the exact same scream behind us, exactly from where we just were. We get about halfway back to the house, and the scream comes in so loudly, it seems to be right next to us. We frantically shine our flashlights everywhere, and we find nothing. No eye glints of any animals, no rustling of bushes, just silence. We backtrack a little bit, but then the scream comes from the creek again. This time, it lasted about 30 seconds and was much louder than before. Needless to say, our retreat became a little more hastened after this one. At this point, we were both scared shitless, so we verified with the family to call us again if they heard any more screaming. They never called again, and we got the hell out of there. I still don't know what it was, and as an avid outdoorsman, I know no animal makes that cry, especially one that can move as quietly as that one did, without being spotted by flashlights. Something else that weirded me out was that it was completely silent while the screams were happening. During summer in Wyoming, there's always some sort of ambient animal sounds. Frogs croaking, crickets chirping, owls hooting, but there was nothing at all. Until we were leaving and the screams had stopped. Then I started to hear a frog croaking. It gives me creeps, just thinking about it still. Back in the day, I was working as a cop on a military base. I loved working night shift. You didn't have to deal with 99% of the drama that day shift deals with, and what little stuff we did deal with was actually pretty interesting. Just about every building on the base has an alarm set up, and they're tied right to my desk so that we know the instant that they go off. When we get an alarm activation, we close the base, go check out the building, pull on all the doors to see if we can get in. If we can get in, we go into the building and secure it. Once in there, we check all the doors and corners to see if somebody set off the alarm. Anyways, one night I'm patrolling with my partner, and we get called to an alarm activation at the elementary school. So we go, secure the building, and we call in that the building is all secure. There's no problems, so we keep patrolling. About 15 minutes go by, and we get another alarm activation at the school. We go back out there and check, and now there's a maintenance door open that leads to a boiler room. Kind of weird, but we check it out, and there's nobody inside. We close the door, lock it, and get out of there. Another 20 minutes go by, and another alarm. We respond, and all the doors are still locked, and we can't get inside. The door that was previously opened is still locked. By now, we weren't sure if somebody was playing games on us or not. My partner and I sit on opposite sides of the school and watch to see if somebody's yanking on the doors to try and set off the alarm. We sit there and watch, but nothing happens. Then, right as we're about to leave, we get another alarm activation as we're sitting right there. This time, we inform the desk that we'd like the building manager on site to help us secure the interior and let us in. Building custodian shows up, and we start doing a walkthrough. We check all the classrooms, and we check all the maintenance rooms, and that's when we see one of the maintenance doors open. Now the maintenance room's literally the size of a closet. There's nobody in there. There's no way somebody could be hiding. But as we're looking around in there, we see a single footprint of a bare foot made out of water. It's of a small child. This scared the living hell out of us. Nobody reported a missing child, and the entire building was clear. No one left, nobody entered. We checked every inch of that school, literally took a 3-hour deep sweep, including all the ceiling tiles. To this day, my partner still refuses to go into that school. Speaking of which, in case you didn't know, schools are actually pretty scary at night when they're dark and empty. So, I have a family member who works in narcotics in the California desert. He told me this story about the ghost car. He was chasing somebody on a major highway. I'm not going to say which one, but you can probably figure it out. Lights, sirens, everything. The guy turns his lights off, swerves into the desert, and then just disappears. He called for backup to help him find the missing car. The tracks led out into the desert for a short while, and then just stopped. They had a few officers poking around, but nothing ever came of it. They never found the car. Strangely enough, this isn't the first time, or the last time, this has ever happened. Ghost cars are apparently pretty common among Mexican drug gangs. They've actually theorized that there's some kind of hidden underground drug lair out there somewhere, but nobody's ever found anything. Well, what do you think of those? Do you think the elementary school was haunted? What about the cops in the woods? Do you think it was just a sneaky coyote? Or something more paranormal? I'd love to hear from you down below. Let me know what you think. Like I said earlier, creepypastas or unsolved mysteries. Or I guess neither, but tell me what you want to see in future videos, and let's make it happen. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Thanks again if you've made it this far, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a good night. Bye for now.